Now, this evening, we're going to talk about one of the many weapons that narcissistic people can use against you. Now, many of you were brought up in Christian communities and atmospheres, and so you might be familiar with the passage, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." However, what happens when your own faith is used against you as a weapon? And yes, narcissistic people are such dirtbags that they will even use your own faith as a weapon against you. Now, what we can take away from these experiences is a better understanding of what taking the Lord's name in vain actually means. The narcissists are showing us that. Let's talk about how you can identify it and what you can do about it. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Before I get into this message, I want to let you know that I'm here for your recovery and your help. Down below in the description box, you can find access to my calendar where you can schedule one-on-one time with me, and I would love the opportunity to be able to help you have a better understanding of what's going on and what you can do to get away from toxicity in your life. Now then, we're talking about weapons that narcissistic people use against you, one of them being your own faith. If you come from a background of faith-based Christianity or any type of faith, what we see narcissistic people doing is weaponizing your own faith. They often use the Lord's name in vain. And now this is an area of confusion, myself included. I was always confused as to what it means to take the Lord's name in vain. And when I was younger growing up, I wasn't allowed to say things like, "Oh my God." I'd get popped in the mouth, or I'd get a bar of soap shoved in my mouth for saying that. Why? Because it fell into what I was told is this category of using the Lord's name in vain. I couldn't say Jesus Christ, right? Or just Jesus or Christ. You know, all these things. I was taught that that is using the Lord's name in vain, which it can be. But it wasn't until I was in a toxic relationship with narcissistically abusive people that I realized the full extent of weaponizing one's faith to be used against them. Now, as I said earlier, narcissistically abusive people, they live in a world where they're constantly fighting with people because they believe that that's the only way in which they can progress, is to take down people, and they learn about you. They learn what hurts you, right? It's kind of like that scene in the movie Good Will Hunting, where Will is walking around the office of the psychologist, the professor, played by Robin Williams. And if you remember, he was nonstop going through the room looking for something that can hurt the psychologist, looking for something that can get at the character of Robin Williams. And he found it by looking at a painting. Narcissistic people, they kind of do that throughout your life. They look for the things that you enjoy. Are you an artistic person? Are you a creative person? Are you a musician? And once they identify this, they start to attack these little things about you to make you feel insignificant. One of the things they will even go so low as to attack is your own faith. They will attack you by using faith. Now, let's talk about what this looks like. Here's some things that I heard and I've experienced in my own life that was using my own faith against me. When I was dealing with a narcissistic person, very toxic individual, it wasn't uncommon for me to start hearing this person say things like, you know, at least I have God on my side. And when you hear this, it kind of throws you back. And as a person of faith, you're like, okay, I get it. God is on your side too. Okay, I'm going to leave you alone. It's a way to back you off from trying to say, hey, you're hurting me. I have God on my side, right? And initially, it throws you off. You're like, okay, well, maybe I'm being too harsh. When you're not, all you're doing is setting boundaries. And when you hear that, I have God on my side, it has a way of backing you off. I'm going to give you another example of using the Lord's name in vain that I heard quite a bit. And that was if I set a boundary, saying, listen, stop cussing at me, stop calling me names, stop being rude to me, right? What I would hear is, I'll be sure to pray for you. I'll be sure to pray for you, Kevin. How many of you have heard that? I'll be sure to pray for you and your ignorant values. I'll be sure to pray for you that God does a work in your heart so you're not so judgmental. I'll be sure to pray for you. This by far, this statement, I'll be sure to pray for you. If you've heard that, it is by far the worst form of using the Lord's name in vain, and I'll tell you why. Because this person, this narcissistic person, has no intention whatsoever of praying for you. They have never prayed for you. They never will truly pray for you. Any prayer that they have to offer you is not a prayer out of love. It's not a prayer out of wanting to help you. It's not out of a prayer of wanting to heal you. It's a prayer of, I want to attack you. And that's the only reason they say that. It's because of this that we can now have a better understanding of what taking the Lord's name in vain is. It's a hurtful, weaponized version of someone's faith. And narcissistic people are so low in life, they're such dirtbags that they will take your faith, weaponize it, and say things like that just to get you to submit to their antagonizing, provoking lifestyle, to submit to their need to control you. So, for example, if you try to set boundaries saying, I cannot be around your name calling and you're bullying and you're yelling and you're cussing, I don't want to be around it. If they say, I'll be sure to pray for you and how stupid you're acting right now, I'll be sure to pray for you and how selfish you are. They weaponize that to back you down and to get you in a place of, oh man, I'm in the wrong. But the truth is they're not praying for you. And this is how you need to look at it. What they're doing is using the Lord's name in vain. They're weaponizing your own faith and using it against you to attack you. This is using the Lord's name in vain. That's it. So now the reason we're having this conversation is so that you can understand better of what using the Lord's name in vain actually is. It's a terrible, dirtbaggish move by narcissistic people who have no intention of really understanding the power of having a relationship with the Lord and what it is to pray for people for healing, right? And praying for people out of love? No. They're saying it out of a weapon to hurt you, to keep you submissive. That's sad. Listen, here's the truth, is that according to Exodus, where it says, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain, it also says that God will hold them guilty. So when somebody, a narcissistic person, is using the Lord's name in vain around you, attacking you with your own faith, perhaps, saying they're going to pray for you when they really have no intention of praying for you, don't worry. The Lord, according to scriptures that you read and they apparently read, the Lord will hold them accountable for that. You don't have to. Simply understand it as somebody who doesn't care for you, doesn't love you, isn't praying for you, is just trying to find another weapon to put you down. Understand that's what's taking place. You could even respond by saying, that's using the Lord's name in vain, and I'm out. Walk away. Have nothing to do with such people. Don't have anything to do with narcissistic people, especially those who use the Lord's name in vain, especially those who use your own faith as a weapon against you. Have nothing to do with these mentally disturbed and dangerous individuals. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below in the description box, you'll find access to my calendar for one-on-one appointments, telephone calls, FaceTime, WhatsApp video calls, text message consultations. It's all down below. You'll find the links down below. Also, Monday night is Royal We Live Chat. Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship at 9 a.m. You'll find the links to these down below as well. And I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.